So how is the leadership race being viewed by the membership? The Rother Valley constituency was created in 1918 and was Labour right up to 2019. For the first time then, it turned blue. Our policy editor, Goodall, attended a focus group in a community centre near the heart of Rotherham.
Rother Valley in South Yorkshire is the sort of seat upon which Boris Johnson built his premiership. Leave voting, it had been represented by Labour since it was first formed in 1918. As the Conservatives choose a new leader, consulting only 100,000 or so of their members, not the 47 million of the electorate, they may well be entitled to feel bypassed. The research group More in Common conduct focus groups on politics and now the Conservative leadership candidates every week. This afternoon, Newsnight sat in on today's, comprised mostly of swing voters and those who voted Conservative in the constituency in 2019, many for the first time. And yet the damage of these last weeks and months on the Conservative brand is deep.
I think they did the right thing, but I think they've waited too long, personally. I think it got to a point where it was so untenable. They had to do something, but maybe it should have been done before things got so bad for everyone.
That makes sense. Anyone else come in on that?
I think it was too little, too late. should have been a long time ago.
Tell me.
If there was a theme today, it was that sense that those most associated with the Johnson government were most vulnerable. And that, of all of them, is a problem for this man most.
Who knows who this is?
I think if you asked me 6 months ago, I would have said yeah. But he's sort of sat there and it's gone from scandal to scandal, then it's tarred him, and then it's gone and he's sat and defended Boris. And if Boris would have been forced to go 6 months ago, then I know a lot of people that said, yeah, he'll be next Prime Minister.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you a clip, and then what I'll ask you to do is on your whiteboard, give a score out of 10 for how much he comes across as someone that's Prime Ministerial.
I know how difficult it is when you're working hard and seeing the price of everything go up every day, every week.
Michael, you've given him a 0. Tell me why.
Well, I've just recently seen a video where he said he's detached from the working class people. And I think, why is he saying that in his younger days, and now all of a sudden he's changed his mind? When now it's come to important that he thinks he can sway over everybody and try and, I don't know, just make him believe that he's going to do right for us, and I don't think he will.
Yeah. Paul, 0.
I don't think he's connected with us, if you understand what I mean. He just seems so far away. I
found it embarrassing that they think that we think he's one of us, that there's a massive class divide, and I just think he's totally out of touch with what struggles normal people have.
Do other people agree with Gemma on that? Yeah, Keely, I come to you.
100%, yeah. Everything that she's just said, yeah.
Is our next candidate. How many know she is? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Michael, do you want to tell us who this is?
Liz Truss.
Liz Truss, yeah. So what do people think about Liz Truss?
The sort of things I know about her is what I've seen on social media, so TikTok and things, where there's been like a mashup of a series of gaffes and statements that she's made, which...
It was Truss, not Sunak, who scored the best of the two. Indeed, they were the only two that were really known by this group. Penny Mordaunt, by contrast, had barely been heard of, and although she now has much momentum with MPs and party members, those here were less sure.
So, as someone who has been quite vocal on trans rights...
Especially given that what they'd seen of her, she'd been focused on cultural, not economic issues.
Everybody else was talking about our lives and how rubbish the UK is at the minute with living and the cost of living and stuff. Everybody were talking about all these big issues. Just felt like I was watching Loose Women.
Just put your hand up if you know who this is. Anyone know? OK, can everyone want to show their scores? OK, so slightly higher scores there for Kemi coming from people. I'll start with some of the high ones.
Yeah, she came across really well, talking about her daughter, her family, just sort of feel like there's a bit of a connection, you know, when she talks, like that she'd get me and I'd get sort of her life and where she came from. She seems more real.
Not enough experience to run the country. She comes across all right, but yeah, no.
OK, we'll move on to the next of the candidates. Again, I'm going to hold them up and just put your hand up if you can tell me who this is.
Yeah, I know that face, but I can't. the way he presented himself then. I like that. I don't know. I felt like, I don't know.
A little bit like you, really. I just thought, yeah, I got a bit of a nice feeling from him.
Does anyone know who this is?
So that people can be dealing with the cost of living challenges in a more feasible way. We need to shrink the size of the state. And
yeah, I think it's more of a vibe, really, that I get from her, that she's not, I don't feel like she's very genuine. Seems to be very sort of like, yeah, there don't seem to be very much emotion or care about what she's saying. It's just sort of like bang, 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 and like a bit borderline aggressive. And we've just sort of come from, you know, Boris arguing to people, and they have like kids saying, "Oh, well, you said this," and whatever. And it's just a vibe, really, that it's like a female version of Boris.
We thought we'd hear a lot today about personalities, how they seemed as people. What was so interesting is that the people here weren't interested in that at all. For me, the really striking thing about that is that these were a group of people who didn't just want to know who the candidates are. They wanted to know what they're going to do. What they're going to do about the profound economic questions that are heading our way, and their profound sense of foreboding about them. On and off camera, people were talking about gas, electricity bills facing £3,000, £4,000 beyond. Some talking about the possibility of civil unrest, disobedience, people refusing to pay their bills because they simply won't be able to afford them. That's what they want to hear from these candidates, what they want to hear about. Everything else is just noise, and they're agreed on one important thing as well, which is that right now, all of Westminster simply doesn't get it.
Lewis Goodall reporting there from Rother Valley.